Alright, good morning and you are welcome to this class. In this video, we will talk about how to solve quadratic functions, how to sketch the graph of quadratic functions. In our last videos, we have talked about how to solve quadratic equations using different methods such as completing the square, factorization and use of quadratic formula. I hope you can go back to the videos for revision. Okay, now in today's class, we want to learn how to sketch the graph of quadratic function. Now, every equation can be used to draw a graph in math, and that is why we want to learn how to use quadratic equations to also sketch a graph. Now, let's start from the general equation for quadratic function. You can see this equation here, ax squared plus bx plus c is equals to 0. This is the general equation for quadratic function. Okay, now, if your a is greater than 0, now the kind of graph you will have for a quadratic function is called a parabola, right? It is called a parabola. And a parabola is of this shape, right? It's of this shape. This is a parabola. You know, there are some kind of graphs that you draw that will give you a straight line like this. But in this type of graph, this is what you are going to get, a parabola. It can either face up or it will face down. Are you following? Now, what will tell us whether it will face up or down is this value a. If the a is this value a, if this value is greater than 0, then the parabola is going to face up, as you will see in the example we'll take soon. If this value a is less than 0, then it's going to face down. Now, that means that if your a is positive, then you are going to have this type of shape. It will open up. If your a is negative, it will open down. I hope you not forget that. Okay, let's go to take some examples. Now, this is a type of a typical graph that you can have. Can you say this now? This is facing up because the value of a here is 1, which is greater than 0. This is facing down because the value of a in this equation is minus 1, which is less than 0. Okay, now before we go to take examples, let's talk about what is a vertex in a parabola. A vertex. Now, a vertex is a turning point like this. A vertex is a turning point, this place. You know, if you are drawing the parabola, you get to a point where you have to turn like this. So this point of turning is called a vertex, right? So if you want to draw a parabola, or you want to sketch the graph of a parabola, what you do is to find the value of x where the parabola will touch the x-axis, like this point, right? And this point, then we are going to find the vertex, which is the turning point, this point. These three information are what we need to sketch the graph of a quadratic function. So I have told you that a vertex is actually the turning point, which is this. And as you can see, if we take this as an example, you can see that on this turning point, there is a value on the x-axis and there is a value on the y-axis. So we are going to get the two values, then use them to sketch the parabola function, the quadratic equation function. Okay, so I think we can take examples now. Let's take example 1. Sketch the graph of these parabolas showing where the curve cuts the x-axis and y-axis and the equation of line of symmetry and the coordinate of each vertex. Okay, let us solve this simple question. How do we do this? Now, when you have a quadratic equation and you want to sketch the graph, what you do is that you can use any method to find the two roots. What that means is that you can use either the factorization or completing the square, or use of formula to find x1 and x2. Are you following? Good. So you can find that using any method you like. So let me solve this. We have x minus 2, x minus 4. If I want to get the roots of this equation, I'm going to equate it to 0. No. Good. I will equate it to 0. So x minus 4, everything will be equals to 0. I hope you are getting that. Because I want to find the two values for x. So I will take the first one, x minus 2 is equals to 0. X minus 2 is equals to 0. Alright? So if you do this, you will see that from this one, your x is equals to 2. So I want to write that my x is 2. So x is equals to 2. I would like to call this my x1. Now, I go to the next one. I will take the second bracket, x minus 4. X minus 4 is equals to 0. It shows that x is equals to 4. I like to call this x2. I like to call this x2. Now I have the value for my x1 and my x2. Fine. Now let us find the vertex. Let's find the vertex. Remember I told you that for us to sketch the graph, we need to know the two values for x, that is the roots of the equation, and we also need to know the vertex, which is the turning point. So how do we find that? You can see that that vertex is actually the turning point, so it's going to be in the middle, right? So for us to get that, we are going to add this together. So if I'm looking for the vertex, I will say 2 plus 4. I'm adding the two x values together. Then I will divide by 2. Divided by 2. That's 6 over 2, which is 3. I hope you are getting it step by step. So this is going to give me 3. 2 plus 4 is 6. 6 divided by 2 is 3. Now, I will put this into the equation. I will substitute 3 for x. So I will change all the x here to 3. So 3 minus 2. So we are going to keep this first. Then we have 3 minus 2. That is y is equals to. Remember in that question we have y is equals to x minus 2, x minus 4. So I will have, instead of writing x minus 2, can you see the question? X minus 2. I will change x to 3. So I'll have 3 minus 2. 3 minus 2. Then in the second bracket, I have 3 minus 4. So I will have 3 minus 4. I mean, I have x minus 4. So I will change x to 3. Then I have 3 minus 4. Good. Now 3 minus 2 is 1. 3 minus 4 is minus 1. So 1 multiply minus 1 is equals to minus 1. So it means that when x is 3, y is minus 1. Y is equals to minus 1. So my the coordinate of vertex is 3 for x, comma, then minus 1 for y. Can you see now? So this is our vertex. This is our vertex. So now the next thing we are going to do is to now sketch the graph. Right? We'll sketch the graph. So let me go to a new page. Okay, good. So for us to draw a graph, we need the x and y axis. So that's what we'll do now. Quickly, I have my, oh, this is not too good. This is not too good. So I draw my x, and why am I drawing like this? Why? Okay, so let me be more careful. We are going to just manage this, and I have my y axis. If I go back, you will see that my x1 is what? My x1 is 2, my x2 is 4. So on this graph, I want to locate 2 and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I need only 2 and 4, so this is okay, right? Then, for the vertex, it is 3 minus 1. X is 3, y is minus 1. So minus 1 for y is going to be down here. Minus 1 for y is going to be here, somewhere around here. Minus 1. You know, this is y-axis, and this is the x-axis. I hope you are getting it step by step. So now we have said that, let me write that here so that we can use them. Our x1 is equals to 2. Our x2 is equals to 4. And the vertex is 3, comma, minus 1. x2 is equals to 4. And I would like to write v for vertex. V, vertex, is equals to 3, comma, minus 1. Remember I said vertex is the turning point. You will see how we are going to apply it now. So good. I have my x1 to be 2. So I look at this point 2 here. I keep this point 2. My x2 is 4. I keep this point 4. Then my vertex is 3 for x and minus 1 for y. That's going to be somewhere around here. Somewhere around here, right? So I will draw my graph. I will sketch my graph. So if I'm sketching the graph, I have something like this. So it's not going to be very perfect because I'm sketching with free hand, but it's going to be interesting. As you can see, this is a parabola and it is opening up. Colors. This is all that you need to do, right? Again, we got the values for x1 and x2, and we got the value for the vertex, and we use that, to draw the graph. Now, this is the turning point. This is not very perfect, but I'm sure you get the idea. Okay, let's go to the next question.